Hi, my name is Sanjay, and I'm the Head of Enterprise Transformation and Migration here at Amazon Web Services, and I work with companies all across ASEAN, helping them to transform their businesses by accelerating their adoption of AWS. This session, the 6 most critical components of a successful transformation to the cloud, is intended to show how AWS is helping its customers start quickly, accelerate innovation, improve agility by 75%, and achieve up to 70% savings on migrated and modernized legacy applications, and also gain up to 50% in staff productivity. The pace of disruptive innovation is increasing, which is putting pressure on companies to think about transformation. Now, transformation can be about transforming yourself, or it can mean transforming to adapt to new business opportunities or adopt new technologies. Startups and digital native businesses are disrupting long-standing industries that have been around for a long time and inventing new ones. In many cases, startups have been able to do this almost from a complete standing start. Look at some of the AWS customers like Airbnb, Dollar Shave Club, Pinterest, and Slack. We're not only seeing companies move quickly in a given business segment, but some are diversifying into other business segments. For example, from ride-hailing to insurance to payments, and possibly banking with companies like Grab, who operate here in the region. Every vertical industry is being reinvented right now by companies that are taking advantage of evolving technology trends and changes like the cloud. Many enterprises are now embracing the change and using the cloud to transform their businesses. Very few enterprises I speak to are asking themselves if they will go to the cloud. Most are asking when and how fast. This is consistent with research done by McKinsey, in which 90% of customers believe their industry will be disrupted, yet only 1 in 6 believe they're responding with a bold strategy at scale. Most enterprises get the need for digital transformation, but they face some key challenges. Further research that was done by PwC showed that 88% of enterprises state they have a cloud-first strategy. However, when you look at it, 86% of enterprise infrastructure expenditure is still on-premises. In reality, this means most enterprises are still tied up with technical debt, i.e. that means legacy projects, processes, operations, all of which consume time, energy, and budget. More crucially, the skill shortage is proving to be a big challenge, not just to get the right talent, but to retrain and retain that talent. A PwC survey confirms this, with 63% of executives citing that they don't have the skills needed to execute on a successful transformation. In addition to the legacy technical debt and skills problem, there are also 2 other common challenges. Fluctuating business demands. Now, these are typically increasing, and the need to adapt in this current business climate has never been more important, with the need to flex up and flex down. The reality is that you will have less time than you think to react and respond. This need for business agility is driving the need to accelerate your capabilities. And finally, there are challenges around onboarding new operating models. Customers need to adjust the way their teams work as you transform, and the customers we speak to want to transform while still ensuring that their operating model should not constrain their technology options. For all these reasons, the one common topic and the question we talk most to companies about is, how should we think about transforming ourselves? And how can we reinvent our business and our customer experience so that we can be meaningful and sustainable over a long period of time? When considering how to make use of cloud technologies, enterprise customers have typically selected one of 2 strategies: an innovation strategy with migration as one piece, and a migration strategy with innovation elements. In AWS's experience, we find that a narrow focus on innovation results in siloed pockets of innovation, and it's not sufficient to achieve company-wide transformation, which may result in conflicts with a larger organization over resources. Conversely, a narrow focus on migration without a true company-wide innovation strategy often leads to technical obstacles, results in staff feeling restricted to more basic cloud technologies, and leaves no room for staff growth or creativity, and often causes companies to lose their way. In fact, enterprises need both migration and innovation, and we suggest thinking about migration and innovation differently. Migration is actually about modernization, which helps to achieve technical debt reduction and reduce operational costs and distraction. And innovation has to be more than about technology for technology's sake. A successful innovation strategy has to be shaped and guided by your desired business outcomes. And with the AWS Enterprise NEXT approach, we work backwards from your business objectives to define a transformation program that combines migration, modernization, and innovation into a manageable strategy. This is supported by establishing the right foundation organizational alignment, and the skills that are needed. This approach focuses on your business, more specifically how technology can help your business achieve measurable results on truly meaningful performance indicators that you select. With all this in mind, I'm now going to share with you what we think are the most 6 critical components if you are going to make a significant transformation, and what AWS can do to help you along the way. The first element of a big transformation isn't technical. It's all about leadership, and there are 4 differentiators for companies that make this transformation successfully versus those that just talk about it. First, you have to have leadership conviction. Senior leadership has to be convicted about making the change, and you need to get that alignment. Inertia is a very powerful thing, and it's easy to get blocked in various parts of the organization. So you need a mechanism to get any issues on the table so you know where you're making progress. AWS can help with executive envisaging workshops, or even engage some of our mechanisms like our working backwards workshops. Second, you need to set an aggressive top-down goal that lets your organization know it's a priority to make this transformation. This forces teams to move much faster than they would organically. GE is a good example of this. Their CIO, Jamie Miller, a few years ago, set her team the aggressive goal of migrating 50 apps in 50 days. The team set the task, and many said it couldn't be done. In fact, she got a lot of pushback on that initiative, but she pushed them to do it. And actually, in the 50 days, I think they managed to complete around 34 applications. And they knocked down many blockers as they went through that process. And what it did is it showed them the art of the possible, and it also gave them that hands-on experience of migrating. And subsequently, since then, they've gone on to migrate in excess of 500 applications to AWS. The third thing to do is to train your builders. It's not hard to use the cloud, but you've got to train your organization so they build the skills, but also gain that valuable experience. That's why AWS trains hundreds of thousands of customers every year. If you give you the example of National Australia Bank, who put in place what we call a skills guild, a training guild, where they put in place a program to train thousands of people across the organization, which has really accelerated their adoption of AWS and helped them move much more quickly to the cloud. And lastly, don't let paralysis stop your organization before you get started. You can't allow the organization to get paralyzed if you haven't been able to figure out how to move every last workload. What we do with a lot of our customers is we go and do a portfolio analysis where we go through all of their applications with them and build a thoughtful, methodical, multi-year plan to migrate. And what companies almost always find is that many workloads are relatively easy to move to the cloud, and they'll get those benefits. And in fact, those migrations often inform the later workloads that are the hardest ones to move. And I'll dive into this more deeply just shortly. The second key component is breadth and depth of services. Once you've made that decision that you're going to make this transformation and move to the cloud, you want the broadest possible capabilities to move existing workloads to the cloud and build anything that you can imagine. And when you look at what is out there today, nobody has close to the capabilities that AWS offers. We have over 200 services, and not only do we have more services, but we also have more depth of features and capabilities within each of these services than any other provider. Let's take compute, for example. AWS has meaningfully more instances than anybody else, and more powerful capabilities within each of those instances. We have 4 times more instance types today than we did 2 years ago. And we can also innovate faster because we have the AWS Nitro system and our own custom-built chips. We have the fastest processors in the cloud with the EC2 Z1D instances, the largest in-memory instances for SAP workloads with the EC2 high memory instances, which are 24 terabytes of memory, and the most powerful GPU instances for machine learning and training and graphics with our EC2 P3DN instances. And for running machine learning at scale in production, our new Inf1 instances for EC2, which are powered by the AWS Inferentia chips, have the lowest cost per inference instances in the cloud. You'll also see this depth with containers, and it's a big difference. AWS has more capabilities for containers than any other cloud provider, which is why 81% of all containers in the cloud are running on AWS. Other cloud providers effectively have one container service, a managed Kubernetes service. AWS gives customers a choice of 4 container services if they want the most deeply integrated container service out there. They can choose Amazon Elastic Container Service, ECS. If they want a managed Kubernetes service, they can choose Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS. And bear in mind, 84% of Kubernetes workloads that run in the cloud today run on AWS. Customers that prefer not to have to worry about servers or clusters and want to manage containers at the task level can use AWS Fargate. Fargate is a serverless container offering and the only compute engine that allows you to run containers without having to manage servers. It's much easier to run containers this way, which is why 40% of customers adopting an AWS container service choose Fargate. And now with the new AWS Fargate for Amazon EKS, we offer customers the only way to run serverless Kubernetes containers securely, reliably, and at scale. And you don't have compute without a great network attached to it. And you won't find a network that has more functionality and capability than AWS. We have a much broader footprint of POPs and more abilities to get onto our backbone than you'll find anywhere else. Our network also has more places for you to go to direct connect between your on-premise data center and AWS, and we're the only one to have 100 gig for standard instances. The third key component is migration and modernization, and I'm going to dive into this area in a bit more depth, because when you're making the transformation to the cloud, you have to make a lot of decisions about what you're going to bring and what you're going to leave behind. Migration and modernization creates the platform for innovation and is a critical bedrock for transformation. So here are some of the biggest trends we see on modernization from companies that are making this move. The first trend is that customers want to move away from mainframes as quickly as possible because they're expensive, they're slow, and they're complicated, and hardly anybody has the mainframe skills anymore. The second trend we see is that customers are moving away from older guard commercial-grade relational databases like Oracle and SQL Server because they're expensive, proprietary, have high amounts of lock-in, and punitive licensing terms. And it's why they're moving to open engines like MySQL, Postgres, and MariaDB. But it's hard to get the performance you need for these open engines that compares well to commercial-grade databases. That's why we built Amazon Aurora, which is MySQL, PostgreSQL compatible. But it has several times faster performance than the typical high-end implementations in these community editions. Moreover, it is just as durable, performant, and reliable as the commercial-grade databases, but at 1/10 of the cost, which is why it's been the fastest growing service in the history of AWS, with tens of thousands of customers. In addition, AWS has a further 16 different database services, giving you the right tool for the right job. The third area we see a lot of migration and modernization decisions around is modernizing Windows to Linux. IDC estimates that in 2020, about 80% of the workloads deployed will be Linux workloads, and Linux is growing about 4 times faster than Windows. There's a few reasons for this. First, people don't want to pay the tax anymore for Windows, particularly when they know the price goes up frequently. Second, there's a more vibrant community around Linux than anywhere else, so all the features and security happens much quicker there. And third, customers don't want to have one company owning the operating system that they're building the business on, especially when they're prone to raise prices and change licensing terms. As a stepping stone to modernizing Windows workloads to Linux, customers are also choosing to save money by migrating their Windows workloads to AWS first. A lot of customers are choosing to do this, and research from IDC shows that 57% of all Windows instances deployed on public clouds actually runs on AWS. But core Windows workloads are not the only thing customers are doing on AWS. As customers work to modernize their application portfolios and move to the cloud, we're seeing an increasing number of them adopt Amazon ECS and Amazon EKS for their .NET core applications. Year over year, we've released new services and enhancements based on feedback from customers just like you. And in fact, there were more than 30 Windows-related launches in 2019. This innovation is one of the main reasons that customers choose AWS. So how do you actually accomplish this? Based on our years of migration experience, we've developed a methodology, best practices, tools, and services which help simplify and accelerate migrations. And there are 3 phases to our approach to complete large-scale migrations. First, the assessment phase, where we build a business case and perform cloud readiness assessments. A mobilization phase, where we build an AWS architecture, migration plan, and mobilize businesses to migrate at scale. And a migration and modernization phase, where we move workloads at scale and pace. We help you establish a cloud operating model to run and optimize your AWS environment for further business benefit. On the slide is a quote from John Bergman, the CIO of Lycra, who talks about his experience with migrating to AWS. Lycra are not alone, and we continue to see increasing momentum for cloud migrations here in ASEAN, in every industry vertical and business segment. Customers are moving beyond experimenting with first workloads and now migrating mission-critical workloads. In financial services, we have customers in Vietnam and Singapore, for example, who are migrating and running core banking. In telco and media, we see OSS and BSS platforms migrating to AWS, such as Astra, who just completed an Amdocs BSS migration to AWS. And we have over 5,000 customers globally running SAP on AWS, with hundreds in ASEAN, such as Petronas Lubricants and Alaya Land. Customers are also asking if we can help move their entire businesses to cloud. For example, Halodoc in Indonesia, a Jakarta-based health tech platform providing healthcare services across 30 cities in Indonesia, is now all in on AWS. Singapore Life, a Singapore-based insurance company, is all in on AWS, running their digital insurance platform and back-end office on AWS. They've used AWS to speed up their time to market, creating a more robust security posture, allowing them to run a regulated workload on AWS. Assess phase. This is where we build the business case for cloud. We first measure your current readiness of operating in the cloud, and this ensures that we're taking all the factors into account. We conduct a migration readiness assessment, which is a one-day workshop where we work with customers to rate their readiness across 6 dimensions using the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. These dimensions are categorized into business and technical capabilities, and they include business objectives, value realization, people, and governance readiness, and on the tech side, platform, security, and operations. We engage stakeholders across the business and in IT within the workshop that produces a board-level report. The report helps inform the migration planning phase where we address any readiness needs. To accompany this, we will also undertake a rapid discovery and portfolio analysis of your environment. We can leverage your existing inventory data or use an agentless tool such as TSO Logic to do this work. TSO Logic was acquired by AWS in December 2018 and is free to use by all our customers. It highlights the financial impact of different software licensing strategies and enables us to create a business case and TCO analysis. Our cloud economics team will show you the comparison between your current on-prem costs and the equivalent cost of you running on AWS. Customers see an average of 31% in savings on infrastructure costs, but as we look deeper into the cost savings, we see customers saving up to 70% on legacy applications that have been migrated and modernized. Cost savings are, of course, important and often where customers start the conversation. However, agility is the main reason companies are moving to the cloud. From a business value perspective, it's easy to see why. Looking at research done by IDC and by looking at AWS's own experience in building business cases for customers, we can see that of the total business value that cloud offers a customer, only around 20% of that is related to cost savings. The other 80% of value comes from improvements in productivity, operational resilience, and agility, with agility accounting for about 49% of business value from cloud. I'm showing here the value realized by numerous AWS customers across each of these pillars, but I'd like to use a very current example. Moderna, a $29 billion biotech company, has been working with AWS so that they can develop a vaccine for COVID-19, and they've chosen to partner with us. The creation of a vaccine typically takes 20 months. However, by leveraging AWS, they've been able to create a vaccine in 63 days, which is now in the 3rd phase of trials. This speaks volumes to the agility and speed at which you can work when operating in the cloud. In the Mobilise phase, we build the AWS architecture, migration plan, and mobilize businesses to migrate at scale. We use the assessment results to improve the migration readiness and planning and begin to mobilize resources to establish a strong foundation. This includes a skills assessment and the establishment of your Cloud Center of Excellence. Your AWS landing zone gets set up where your applications will reside, and we look at different operating models and the security and compliance requirements. I'll now dive into these a little bit deeper. It's important to determine the right migration pattern for your applications, and we do this by understanding the details of your current environment, including where the data is, not just the application data, but the operational data. How it is used and accessed by different users is absolutely critical. AWS and our partners offer a collection of tools to help you make better decisions for architecture, modernization, and migration planning by discovering the current environment, application dependencies, and identifying where there may be gaps in knowledge that need to be addressed in the plan to migrate. AWS with its partners will help evaluate the 7 R's of migration and classify your workloads to determine what's the right migration strategy. Rehost, replatform, refactor, relocate with something like VMware Cloud on AWS, repurchase, retain, or often retire. customers are looking to move some of those legacy applications to SaaS offerings, for example, many of which run on AWS. In this planning stage, we help customers move the first few applications into production whilst we plan to deliver the future migrations at scale. And this is crucial because it builds your hands-on experience and your migration muscle. Customers use the first few application migrations to develop a foundation and operating model that will continually improve and become more sophisticated as your migration accelerates. Once workloads are in AWS, there are 3 operating models you can choose from. You can use AWS Management and Governance Services for end-to-end IT lifecycle management for both your AWS and non-AWS resources. You can use AWS Managed Services, AMS, which can also help accelerate your migration by providing ongoing management, cost optimization, and operations for your AWS infrastructure, leaving your teams free to focus on your applications and build their skills in the cloud. You can also choose to partner with one of over 100 AWS managed service providers who will provide full lifecycle services for cloud operations. The MSP partners are qualified through an MSP certification program and are audited by third parties for compliance. And of course, you can use multiple of these options to best fit your needs. AWS Control Tower enables you to set up an AWS multi-account environment or landing zone. The AWS Control Tower provides the easiest way to set up and govern new, secure multi-account AWS environments based on best practices established through AWS's experience with working with thousands of enterprises. You can provision new AWS accounts in a few clicks, knowing your accounts will conform to your company-wide policies. Whether you are building a new AWS environment to support a new cloud initiative or are completely new to AWS, Control Tower can help you get started quickly with governance and best practice built in. The migration and modernization phase is where we move workloads to AWS at scale and pace. As applications are migrated to AWS, they move to the operations phase where you iterate on your foundation, turn off old systems, and constantly iterate towards a modern operating model. Your operating model becomes an evergreen set of people, processes, and technology that constantly improves as you migrate more applications. AWS and our partner ecosystem offer the most mature and complete set of tools to help you automate and simplify a migration of almost any workload. CloudEndure was acquired by AWS in Jan 2019 and is used by customers and APN partners for large-scale lift and shift server migrations. CloudEndure supports a wide variety of source platforms, i.e. physical and virtual. CloudEndure also uses a unique block-level replication strategy to achieve a near-zero downtime migration. Customers using CloudEndure have successfully migrated thousands of servers over a weekend with a very tight service window. CloudEndure is also available to use at no cost to our customers. It's designed for rapid, mass-scale migrations of servers and databases. It's simple to set up, lets you start in minutes. The same highly automated processes for any workload can be used regardless of OS type, application, or database. You can migrate with minimal business disruption, and it eliminates complexity and reduces risk. And it's now available, as I say, free to all our customers. The AWS Migration Hub is designed to be a single location to track the progress of your application migrations across AWS and partner solutions. With the AWS Migration Hub, you can discover your on-premise portfolio using the AWS Application Discovery Service and/or import discovery data from existing sources, such as your CMDB or from other discovery tools. You can view server information and group servers into applications to help you plan your migration, and you can track the progress of your migration using the migration tools that best fit your needs, whether that's AWS or an AWS partner. The AWS Migration Hub can manage migrations in any AWS region that has the available tools. It's also available to all AWS customers at no additional charge. You only pay for the cost of the migration tools that you're using and the resources that you're consuming on AWS. Through AWS training and certification, and also by using AWS Professional Services, ProServe, we can train your builders to help create a Tiger team, which will evolve into your cloud enablement engine. The cloud enablement engine creates an organizational-wide capability that will help the whole business to move faster. This includes process governance around how you'll manage billing, identity, incidents, and costs in a pay-as-you-go as-a-service model. It's crucial to build the right team model to be able to scale planning and the execution of your migration. It starts with the Cloud Foundation team. This is the team that is going to put your AWS foundation in place and enable your first few development teams and workloads to migrate to AWS. It is deployed usually in the first 6 months and has a team lead, product manager, training and enablement lead, finance lead, an architect and engineers. As the number of development teams, applications, and cloud enablement products grow, you will likely have to do something we call subdivide and specialize. This involves creating a dedicated cloud business office and a dedicated cloud platform engineering team. The business office focuses on line of business requirements, skills enablement, onboarding, organizational change management, financial management, and cloud delivery. The engineering teams can then focus on the technical details and architecture required to meet the scale, security, resiliency, and operating model objectives with a dedicated Scrum Master and product owner for each team. For the engineering team, we learned it is better to organize them across the areas of platform, operations, and security, rather than creating specialty teams for these capabilities. This way, each application can be holistically engineered and optimized. As the migration project scales past the first year, we find that further subdividing the cloud business office helps the project scale. We see business office teams dedicated to onboarding, organizational change management and training, and finance and delivery, and then we just simply add more engineering teams to meet the demand. To summarize the migration and modernization journey, customers typically go through this 3-phase journey. It starts with a migration assessment phase, in which we assess migration readiness and undertake a rapid discovery to create a TCO model to build business justification for your migration project. The second phase is readiness and planning, which is designed to build your capabilities and experience. This includes the 8 work streams pictured here, and the level of activity required in each of these work streams is determined by the readiness levels determined during that migration readiness assessment. This phase also includes the actual migration of a recommended number of applications, typically 10 to 20. This allows your teams to build migration capabilities alongside migration experts from AWS or our partners. The readiness and planning stage is typically 2 to 6 months, and it involves AWS ProServe and or a partner who can help you prepare for large-scale migration, which is phase 3. During phase 3, you will migrate waves of applications at scale and then operate and optimize your cloud environment and applications. I've mentioned AWS partners a few times. The last big modernization trend we're seeing is that customers want a large choice of technology and consulting partners when it comes to moving to the cloud. They often work with different systems integrators than they used to on premises because they want an SI that is really deep in a cloud platform and has lots of dedicated trained professionals on that platform. AWS offers the largest community of technology and consulting partners globally who specialize in AWS services and adapt their technology to work on AWS. The AWS partner network includes thousands of systems integrators and tens of thousands of independent software vendors, ISVs, who start with AWS because of our significant market leadership position. This includes well over 40 AWS migration competency partners that can help you with your migration journey. And these partners have large-scale migration practices and experience in delivering large-scale migration projects. That concludes my deep dive into the third most critical component to a successful transformation, which was migration and modernization. The fourth crucial component to a successful transformation is data at scale. When moving to the cloud, there are transformations that are really about meeting new environments or new technological challenges. And if you look at how much data that we're trying to store and process and analyze today, it's very different than the era that existed in the past. We hear from companies all the time that they're looking to extract more value from their data, but struggle to capture, store, analyze all the data generated by today's modern and digital businesses. Data is growing exponentially, coming from new sources, is increasingly diverse, and needs to be securely accessed and analyzed by any number of applications and people. Data is the core behind every business and every decision. Gartner states the #1 technology area that CIOs are increasing investment in is business intelligence or data analytics solutions. 45% of CIOs are increasing investment and only 1% are decreasing. The same report also shows that 63% of CEOs say that they're likely to make a change to the business model over the next 2 years. And so performing analytics prior to, during, and after changes of this magnitude is crucial. It's paramount to measure the return on investment for digital activities. If you aren't measuring it, you're not taking it seriously. As data accumulates, customers have it stored in different silos, making it really difficult to do analytics. To make it easier, customers want all their data stored in a single repository, i.e. a data lake. Customers need to store data securely at any scale and at low cost using the standards-based data format of their choice. Customers want the flexibility to analyze the data in a variety of ways, using a broad set of analytics engines, ensuring their needs will be met for their existing and future analytics use cases. Customers also need to go beyond insights, from operational reporting on historical data to being able to perform machine learning and real-time analytics to accurately predict future business outcomes. AWS Analytics helps organizations quickly get from data to answers by providing mature and integrated analytics services ranging from cloud data warehouses to serverless data lakes. Getting answers quickly means spending less time building plumbing and configuring cloud analytics services to work together. AWS helps you do exactly that by giving you 1, an easy path to build a data lake and start running diverse analytics workloads. 2, secure cloud storage, compute, and network infrastructure that meets the specific needs of analytics workloads. 3, a fully integrated analytics stack with a mature set of analytics tools, covering all common use cases and leveraging open source, standard language, engines, and platforms. And finally, 4, the best performance and most scalable, low costs for analytics. Many organizations choose cloud data lakes as the foundation for their data and analytics architectures. Setting up and managing data lakes today involves lots of manual time-consuming tasks, such as loading data from different diverse sources, monitoring these data flows, setting up partitions, turning on encryption and managing keys, reorganizing data onto columnar format, and granting and auditing access. AWS is focused on helping customers build secure data lakes in the cloud in days, not months. AWS Lake Formation enables self-service discovery and access for users without having to ask IT to find and grant access to the data, and provides easy on-demand access to specific resources that fit the processor and memory requirements of each analytics workload. The data is curated and cataloged, already prepared for any flavor of analytics, and related records are matched and deduped with machine learning. This automation greatly reduces the time it takes to get answers when your data lake is built on top of AWS. Amazon S3 provides a fully featured storage layer alongside both comprehensive compute layer, Amazon EC2, and a network stack with the speed and scale needed for advanced analytics. Building a data lake on this robust foundation allows customers to store all of their data without worrying what to throw away, and it reduces the costs and the need to do analytics on that data. The AWS Analytics services are deeply integrated within the infrastructure layers, allowing you to easily take advantage of features like intelligent tiering and EC2 spot instances to reduce cost and run analytics faster. When you're ready for more advanced analytic approaches, our broad collection of machine learning and AI services can be used against that same data in S3 to provide even more insight without the delays and costs from moving or transforming your data. The fifth crucial element to a successful transformation is machine learning. A lot of what we've tried to do in machine learning over the last few years in AWS, which continues to be our mission, is to allow you to get what you want done. This means gaining value from your data using machine learning much more easily than before. There's nobody who has the collection of capabilities for machine learning like AWS, which is why we have tens of thousands of customers that are already using us for machine learning. In the fullness of time, virtually every application will be infused with machine learning and artificial intelligence. Most customers we work with are very interested in machine learning. Tens of thousands of customers are running machine learning on AWS, spurred by the broad adoption of Amazon SageMaker. It's a pretty broad set of customers, including companies like Liberty Mutual Insurance, Slack, C-SPAN, Intuit, Pinterest, Capital One, Yelp, Finja, and NBC. First, we provide the deepest set of machine learning and AI services for your business. AWS is unmatched in the breadth and depth of capability we offer customers. We launched over 200 new features and services in the last year. No other provider has done more than half as many as that. And our pace is only accelerating. Developers will love waking up virtually every day with new capabilities at their fingertips. Developers with no prior machine learning experience can easily build sophisticated AI-driven applications spanning computer vision, language, recommendations, and forecasting, with many using machine learning technology perfected from years at Amazon.com. For advanced practitioners, we're unmatched in the flexibility we give them with the support for all the popular open source frameworks optimized for training performance. 90% of data scientists use multiple frameworks, and that's because algorithms are being invented all the time by people all over the place and in every type of framework. people then don't want to have to take the time to port that algorithm back to TensorFlow. We support all three of the major frameworks equally well. We have dedicated teams that don't just work on TensorFlow, but a team that works just on PyTorch and a team that works just on MXNet. Second, we can accelerate the adoption of machine learning with SageMaker. Amazon SageMaker puts machine learning into the hands of all developers and data scientists, allowing them to quickly build, train, and deploy machine learning models at scale with much less effort. Amazon SageMaker is a managed service that takes a number of the required steps to build, train, and tune and deploy a machine learning model and makes it much easier for everyday developers and scientists. It helps organizations of all sizes to embrace machine learning. Before SageMaker, doing machine learning was just too hard for most customers. By making machine learning easier at low cost, customers can make better use of their data, which is both valuable and differentiating. Models that previously took customers months and expensive specialized expertise to build can now be done in weeks or even days. For example, Intuit developed ML models that can pull a year's worth of bank transactions to find deductible business expenses for customers, and with SageMaker, was able to reduce development time by 90% from 6 months to 1 week. Amazon SageMaker lowers TCO over a 3-year horizon by at least 54% compared to other cloud-based ML options, such as self-managed Amazon EC2 and Amazon Managed EKS. The analysis holds true for small teams of 5 data scientists and extra large teams with 250 scientists. In addition to lower TCO, Amazon SageMaker's productivity features enable you to put machine learning ideas into production faster and improve data science productivity by up to 10 times. In less than 2 years, over 10,000 customers have adopted SageMaker, and many of them are making it their standard for machine learning. Third, you get the confidence of building on AWS, the most comprehensive cloud platform optimized for machine learning. And that's why today, if you look at the amount of TensorFlow that runs in the cloud, 85% of the TensorFlow runs on AWS. We have a team that does nothing but work on optimizing TensorFlow performance on AWS, and they have done a lot of innovation. Finally, you need the right, highly secure, highly reliable, fully featured data store with the right access control, right security, the broader set of analytics capabilities, and really robust offerings at all 3 layers of the machine learning stack, which we believe most companies with modern technology capabilities in the future will clearly operate at all 3 layers of this stack. And that's what machine learning is and what's needed. And nobody has that set of capabilities collectively like AWS, which is why twice as many companies are using AWS for machine learning as anybody else. Here you can see the 3 layers of the AWS machine learning stack. At the bottom layer are the frameworks, interfaces, and infrastructure for expert machine learning practitioners. TensorFlow has the most resonance and largest community today, and we have a lot of TensorFlow experience and usage, with 85% of TensorFlow running on AWS. The middle layer of the stack. There's not that many expert machine learning practitioners, and so if you want machine learning to be pervasive, you have to make it easier for everyday developers and data scientists to build, train, and tune ML models. And that's what the middle layer of the stack is about, and that's where Amazon SageMaker sits. Now, at the top of the stack, we serve developers and companies who want to add solution-oriented intelligence to their applications through an API call, rather than developing and training their own models in SageMaker. And we have a lot of services in this area to do specific things. For example, with speech, Poly and Transcribe. If you want to turn text into speech, we have Poly, and if you want to transcribe audio, we have Transcribe. Text through Translate, Comprehend, and Textract. If you want to translate text into different languages, we have Translate. If you want to understand what's being said in those translated core corpuses of text, you have Comprehend. Then you have things that Amazon is relatively famous for, Alexa and chatbots with Lex, personalization and forecasting. Customers have asked us to continue to consider adding services around these areas where we have a lot of experience and data from our consumer business. Amazon Fraud Detector, for example, is a new fraud management service for detecting online identity and payment fraud in real time. No machine learning experience required. Amazon Code Guru is a new machine learning service to automate code reviews and identify your most expensive line of code. And Contact Lens for Amazon Connect, our contact center solution, which provides machine learning powered contact center analytics for Amazon Connect. And Kendra, a newly launched service which reinvents enterprise search with machine learning. Finally, the 6th crucial component to a successful transformation is breaking through barriers. Customers often have angst about making the transformation to the cloud when they can't figure out how to move every last workload and don't know how to move forward. Here's an example of how we're trying to make it easier for customers to break through barriers with hybrid. Some customers who are moving the majority of their workloads and applications to AWS have some that must remain on premises for a while, and they need these workloads to interoperate with the rest of the applications sitting in AWS. With VMware Cloud on AWS, customers can use the same VMware software on AWS that they're used to managing their on-premise infrastructure with. This makes it easier to migrate applications to the cloud, and we see customers leveraging VMC to quickly exit data centers, set up disaster recovery, or even extend their on-premise environment to the AWS cloud when they reach maximum capacity on-premise. And for applications which must remain on-premises, customers can now use AWS Outposts to run infrastructure on-premises for a truly consistent hybrid experience. Outposts are AWS servers with AWS compute, storage, database, and analytics services running on them. Customers get the same APIs, control plane tools, and functionality as AWS. AWS Outposts comes in two variants: native AWS, available now, and VMware Cloud on AWS coming this year in 2020. AWS Outposts has already been launched in Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia. So there you have it, the 6 most critical components of a successful transformation to the cloud. Get your executive team aligned, get some aggressive top-down goals, train your builders, and get started. As we say, think big, but start small. It's crucial you get started. Choose to give your business and the developers access to the broadest and deepest set of capabilities. Create the case for change. Begin migrating and modernizing applications and establish a strong foundation of skills and capabilities in your organization. AWS can fund and make investments to support you along this journey. With your data in AWS, you can then use our advanced data and analytics capabilities to gain extra insights and make better business decisions by leveraging the broadest and deepest set of machine learning capabilities, which are adjacent to the applications and data that you've moved into AWS. Finally, break through barriers and let AWS help your hybrid strategy with VMware Cloud on AWS and Outposts and other low latency capabilities for locations which are being launched throughout the rest of the year. So why do customers choose AWS? Customers have come to really appreciate that the Amazon culture is really different. If a startup, enterprise, government agency is going to partner with an infrastructure provider, it's typically a long-term decision that they're making. They really want to understand what's unique about the culture of the partner that they're choosing. And there are probably 3 things that are different about AWS. We're unusually customer-focused, and a lot of companies say this, but very few walk that walk. Most of the big technology companies are competitor-focused. They look at what the competition is doing and they try to one-up those competitors. This can be a very successful strategy. It's just not ours. 90% of what we build is driven by what our customers tell us matters. And the other 10% are the things we hear from customers where they may not articulate exactly what they want, but we try to read between the lines and invent on their behalf. Secondly, most large technology companies have lost their will and DNA to invent. We like to hire builders who look at customer experiences that are flawed and then figure out how to reinvent those. In a space that's moving as fast as the cloud is, to be partnered with the company that has the most functionality, that's iterating the quickest and has the largest community and had the vision for the cloud from the very start without having to patch together acquisitions, that's very attractive. And finally, we're very unusually long-term orientated. You won't see our folks showing up at your door to try and close a sale at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year. We're trying to build relationships in a business that lasts longer than all of us here today. And you only do that by doing right by your customers over a long period of time. Thank you again for attending. We really appreciate your feedback so that we can do better and understand more about the topics and services you'd like to know more about. So please do take the time to fill in our survey and let us know what you think. Thank you very much.